What's going on, people? Happy Tuesday and welcome to Kings Speak. This is season 2, episode 7. Can I be vulnerable? So we have actor BJ Williams in the house, and I'm so excited to talk all things men and vulnerability. Stay tuned. What's going on, y'all? You know this is King Speak. We got to talk to the men. When it comes to emotional intelligence, vulnerability, and self-mastery, it's really nice to hear men speak from the heart and from their experiences on what they go through, what their expectations are, how the world affects them, and how to move forward in purpose and all of the things. So sure, we love hearing from men about business and sports and all these things, but what about the relatable side, where we can really get to know them in a different light and way in order to harmonize relationships between men and women. And it's not just about romantic relationships, but even in the workplace or, whatever we have going on, it's very important that we understand each other. So happy Tuesday. Welcome to season 2, episode 7. Can I be vulnerable? We have an amazing guest, actor BJ Williams in the house. So let's get him in here. He started a movement, okay? A docuseries, Can I Be Vulnerable? Let's do this. Hi.
What's going on?
How's it going?
It's going. It's going.
You know what? That's better than it not going. How about that?
Yeah, let me put some things down somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to be able to connect with you. I've had you on my list for a while because I love the work that you're doing, and I think it's important to let the people know what you have going on. So if you want to start by sharing your name, who you are, and then we'll dive right into all of the good stuff.
What's going on, people? My name is DJ Williams. First and foremost, I'm a dad. I was going to make sure I say that. I have a son that's an adult. Can't believe I'm saying that.
Wow.
I'm an educator. I've been an educator now, 13, 14 years now?
Oh, you freezing. Y'all let me know in the chat. Can you hear me? Can you hear us? Or is he frozen on your end too? Gotta love this tech. Oh, here we go. He might have got a phone call.
Okay.
There you
Nah, I
go.
didn't. I got all my bars up and everything. I'm looking like, wait, what happened?
All right, so you're an
I'll start from
educator.
the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been an educator almost 15 years now. Former athlete, football and track collegiately, Washington State University, Mill Creeks. Had my little attempt at the pros, didn't work out. And I started a platform now. It didn't start off that way. Called Can I Be Vulnerable? It started off as a docuseries for Black men. Tell a story with their mental health journey, something very personal that they rarely tell or they've never told. And from that, it kind of evolved into a bunch of other things. So it was a docuseries we no longer record. Pandemic happened, and to be honest with you, I didn't really, I was tracking people down. And most of everybody that's on here are my friends or colleagues or coworkers that I've been. But then it got to the point where they were like, you should go talk to this person, that person, and I kind of got burnt out on tracking people down and trying to schedule it. So, and as that was going on, it evolved into some other things. And I developed a curriculum for high school students.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So we piloted this program at Jefferson High School. We are now a little bit over a year since we started it. Actually, March 14th will be the day we went on, the day they shut schools down, but we actually started it in December of 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
But anyway, it's an opportunity. So basically, it's social, emotional learning and leadership. And it's an opportunity to get kids acclimated and familiar with their mental health and their mental health journeys and mental well-being. We don't call it a mental health class because I am not licensed personally, but we do tap into these things, and we created again, it's a curriculum to where they're able to identify specific emotions. We do listening exercises because people suck at listening. We hear, but we don't really listen, right? And so
Come on.
the key to communication is active listening. Um, so we work on that with a series of games, which I actually love. I try to bring in a guest speaker every class. And a lot of times they're the alumni from the video series. So now you're seeing these men talk about their mental health journeys. Now they're here, you can ask whatever questions they want. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on the mental health aspect of it. It's a great opportunity for them to network as well. Because I have a lot of seniors. So I tell them, like, you might want to start questioning these people because they do things that you may want to get into later. So that's been a little over a year. The students love it. The school loves it. And the goal from the actual school district, this wasn't my goal, was for them to extend this program to other schools. But because of the pandemic, we kind of had to put that part on hold. So that's what we did. And then I got a couple other projects. I bought a bus, renovating it. So we're going to put some mental health professionals on, and we're going to go to underserved Black and brown communities and introduce therapy. What they will bring.
I love it so much.
I'm actually gonna drop it off. We took the seats out, did the interior or whatnot. I'm actually gonna drop it off relatively soon. Hopefully in about 4 to 6 weeks it'll be done, ready to go. This was supposed to be done last year, but I had an issue with a nonprofit that I had partnered with, so I had to take care of that. But shout out to them. Hopefully, they're still doing the work that they were going to do as well. It's all needed. So I would never tell them to not do that. I would never tell anybody not to. I'm not even putting them on blast like that. But hopefully, they're still doing the work and get it done and goes well for us.
Right.
And take care of. So
yeah, that is dope. I love the work that you're doing.
So we're doing it this year. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. You said so many important things. Starting with the listening too. I always talk about that. No matter what I'm talking about or doing, I always find myself, especially as an interviewer, a host, a human, men and women, if you're at work, no matter what it is, it's like listening, kids to parents is so important. We miss so much because we're so eager to respond. We're eager to share what we know or, all of these things, but there's so much power in listening. Additionally, I love that you created a curriculum for high school students because it's like, we didn't learn any of this stuff, especially when it comes to men. I feel like women, we've always been given the space to be emotional, but like with men specifically, it's like, do you believe that you guys are raised repressed into like, so repressed in your emotions that it just, like, when did you notice, because it's like boys don't cry, don't do this, be a man, that was maybe an issue for you when it came to interpersonal skills or relating to other people?
Shit, I was 30.
See, dang.
30, yeah.
Yeah.
When I first got into therapy, and it's not ignorance because you never knew it. Period. You know what I mean? So I can't even say it's ignorance because I can't be ignorant to something that I have zero idea about. But when I got into it, I was like, holy shit. Can I cuss? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. Be you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if kids watch this, but whatever. Anyway,
yeah.
Is when I got into therapy was when I realized, like, these terms and the way we were raised in some ways were very oppressive in terms of how we deal with emotions. But there is another aspect of it. Men have a space to speak on issues within ourselves. We don't call it that though. You know what I mean? It's not, we don't see it like that. It's just like, oh, the homies are together, or we're in a barbershop, or I'm sitting down with the OGs chopping it up. We do have these kind of spaces is in the manner of what's being taught, in the manner of how we respond and receive these information. It's a little bit different. In the terms of difference. So for women and for ladies, for young girls, yeah, it's seen as an emotional thing. For us, it's not seen. It's just having a talk. You know what I mean? We kind of just label it as that. But those things are literally us having those kind of conversations. Um, I think where the problem comes in at a lot of times is where, because we haven't had, a lot of us as a generation in generations past haven't had professional help, and we do not know the language of mental well-being and mental health, that we can we got some ways that can be misconstrued or misinterpreted or misheard. And again, like, as we were bringing up, listening, our active listening skills lack. That's you have to practice active listening. We hear very, very well. I hear you, but I'm not listening to shit you're saying. Like, you know what I mean? So those things, is where our spaces, needs improvement. We have spaces,
Mm.
but bringing in these terminologies and bringing in mental health, like, and then having people that are within those circles and in those spaces, if they know what they are doing, and even if they don't have a lot of knowledge on a specific topic, then being able to say, I don't have much knowledge in this, but let me direct you to somebody who might. Or, you know what I mean? So those kind of things, we've always had it, but again, the terminology and how we address it, and some of the ways in which some of the things are conveyed to us in these spaces could use improvement.
That is such an amazing point. And I've actually never heard it that way before. And it makes perfect sense. You got the barbershop, you sit down with your boys, you got even men and women, you sit down together and you start having these conversations. You got some wine, drinks, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. You just like, man be, women be, da, 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 da. So you're right. We have the space, but it comes down to language and tools. Language and tools is a game changer. And you're right. If we
Mm-hmm.
invite some of this language and these tools in, we'll be able to navigate these spaces better in a way where it's actually transforming people and giving them the energy and advice or whatever it is that they need. So what do you think is the block that is in a man's mind when it's like, okay, we hear, but we're not listening? What is that? Is that ego? Is it that you don't want to? Is it that you feel like you need to be right because you're a man? Like, what is that?
So it's all of those things. It's not
Mm-hmm.
one answer to it. Yeah, it is ego.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. And there are reasons as to why. Yeah, I do feel like I need to be right because I am a man, but those things are conditions. We are conditioned, these are just societal conditions that happen, but it's all of those things. And it's not all of those things all of the time. It's some of those things some of the time. It's one thing at a time. But all of those things are included. Yeah. And then again, we do not have the tools
Right.
and the language to better communicate. And at times, to go along with ego, it feels like an attack. There are
An
times where it
attack.
feels like we're being attacked. Like we're being attacked. I know I've had those in the past. Like, wait, are you attacking me right now? And then attack. You either fight or you flee. You fight, flee, or because it's actually three. You fight, flee, or you just dead stuff. You just take dead. Because that is an option too. You
Right.
don't do anything. You don't fight. You don't run. You're just there. So yeah, it's not a one answer thing. It's multi-layered. And it's all of those things all the time. It's some of those things some of the time. It's one of those things one of.
Yeah, and I love that. I like to ask, because it's really the reason for this show too. It's like, hearing you speak, it gives women understanding, like, oh, okay, he might feel attacked right now, or he might, because there's some things that we go through, and I share that we get the same conditioning that y'all get. So
Yeah,
while you're
absolutely.
conditioned to be a certain way, we're getting the same thing. So we come at you like a certain way, and it don't work for nobody because none of us know what's going
Right.
on.
Right. Right. Right.
So I love the language, and I really think it helps people understand, how to approach things. Or even if a man is feeling some kind of way and you see him shutting down or feeling attacked, at least as a woman or another man, you can respond in a way where you're recognizing, because you're listening, what might be happening with that person, and work around it, as opposed to, oh, well, they ain't listening or they're cut off, so I'm not. Now you got two people in static.
Right. Right. Right.
Doesn't work.
Right.
So with Can I Be Vulnerable, what was the event or conversation that was a catalyst for you to create the platform, the docuseries, and how did this start for you? The desire to fill this space the way you are.
I actually didn't want to fill a series. I just wanted to tell my own story.
Mm.
Uh, basically how it started. And we just grew from there. But I was actually on vacation when it came to when the term "can I be vulnerable" came. I was in Barbados.
Mm.
Uh, and it just hit me. The woman I was dating at the time, I told her like, I know what I want because I had spoke about wanting to tell the story. I just didn't know how to do it. And next girlfriend, I was like, yo, I got it. She's like, write it down. And so we came back, and my boy, shout out to Brandon Thomas. I always got to shout him out, the executive producer of all of these videos. Uh, he likes to call himself the Alfred to my Batman, but that's a role he likes. So I'm gonna call him the Alfred. I hate when he says that.
We'll
But
let him
he's
have it.
Alfred. If I'm Bruce Wayne, Batman, he's Alfred and shit. So he's a very vital part of this whole thing. So shout out to Brandon, Brandon Thomas. He came over, we recorded it in my backyard, and that was it. It was going to be a one-off thing. Um, I didn't had no intentions on making. I think we have 50 something videos now. We didn't record for over a year, so I got 50 black men too. Get on camera and tell me their stories. My son did one as well. So when I did mine, my son was like next to me, listening. And it was his very first time hearing, his dad speak on some of these issues. I know a lot of times as parents, our job is to, we think keeping them from us is protecting them. But kids are way more understanding, way more resilient than we give them credit for. A lot of times it's us putting the restrictions and the boundaries on them, and this is why we feel like they don't understand or they can't comprehend. They absolutely can if you free them up enough. So I wanted my son to see his dad open up about some things that he probably maybe had suspicions about, maybe he didn't, but now he knows. Um, so that was interesting. And then he immediately after Brandon interviewed my son, that is one episode that has not been shown because it's my son's story. And now that he's an adult, he still doesn't even have it.
Mm.
So I don't know if he will ever release it because he was, I forgot how he was. He was 13, 12, 13 at the time, something like that.
Wow.
Maybe. Anyway, um, so he hasn't seen his own yet.
Wow.
Stupid.
He hasn't seen his own. I know when
Spam calls.
even the fact that it's recorded, no matter what or whenever he decides to look at it, I know he'll find value in it. I sometimes wish I had some things when I was younger because it just helps you so much that we are and have and go through when we're younger. It has everything to do with who we are, who we become, how we function. And it's important to have that stuff. So I'm glad he has it. Whenever he's ready to look at it, maybe he'll release it, maybe he won't. Maybe it'll be exclusive to some of the high schools who have the curriculum. But regardless, I know it'll be valuable to his life and his growth. So that's dope.
Yeah.
How did releasing your story and telling it and then putting it out there, did that release you in any kind of way? Or what did it make you feel like? Did you benefit from that in a particular way that you remember?
I benefited in the way that everybody else started to tell their stories. Yeah, that's how I benefited from it. Right immediately afterwards, I can't tell you how many messages I got from the women, of course, because you guys love that kind of thing. Whenever a man opens up, women love it. So that's a given. But it was the dudes that were in my text messages, some of my closest friends, and they know the stories that I spoke about. They were there for it with me. But speaking it in the way that I did was new for them. So even some of my closest friends in my circle, the comments, them wanting to. And then from strangers that I don't know. These people that I read on social media, the comments were where it's at. The people saying that, whenever you're ready, let me tell my story.
Right.
And initially I was like, well, you got a phone. I did mine on my cell phone. Like, you got a phone.
Right.
Tell it.
You are so funny.
You don't need me for that.
Start talking, bro.
That was literally my thing. Like I said it at the end of my video, like, listen, go, you got a phone. Go tell your story if you want to. You know what I mean? But they were like, yeah, no, we want to tell it with you. And I was like, well, I really want to do all that. And then Brandon was like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. Let's do this. And he was actually the one that pushed it. And then my ex at the time, she kind of looked at me when I said it, like I didn't want to do it. She gave me the side. I'm like, yeah. So she saw the vision before I did. So they both
Right.
kind of pushed it forward for me. Uh, we got the recording.
Yeah, I mean, it
So that was my
definitely
benefit.
sounds, yeah, I love it. And they say when we confess or, speak out loud anything that's been hidden with us, it just lifts a weight. And it just sounds like in your case too, definitely sounds like a God thing, a purpose thing. You're on vacation, your mind is free, it's open, you're in a space, nature, Barbados, and you get a download. That be our work. That, even
It
whether
might
we
have.
want to do it
I'm
or
not gonna
not.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. It might have been the rum I was drinking.
I mean, hey,
You
however the
know.
seed has been set.
All right. Like I believe Barbados has the very first rum distillery, so I was getting it straight from the source. You know what I mean? So it
That
could have been
sounds
that.
so right. That sounds so bomb too. Maybe it was the
Mm-hmm.
rum. Well, thank you, rum, because now
Maybe it
we got
was.
this
Thank you,
going
rum.
on.
All right.
So, what are a few things that were revealed to you about yourself? And if not yourself in this series, maybe something that you learned or gained from one of the men that you interviewed?
Myself. Damn. What did I learn about myself? What was revealed about myself? I'm damn. A beacon. Can I call myself that?
Yeah, I absolutely.
Because as soon as I did mine, it was a wrap after that. I can't tell you how many stories that I got. Not even the ones that I recorded. It was like the floodgates open. So that was revealing, and I didn't understand it at first, and I didn't until actually somebody talked to me about it. Like it took somebody. I guess I'm patting myself on the back or two my horn. I've accomplished some things in my life that most people don't get to accomplish,
Mhm.
and with that, people follow you, so to speak. Uh, they. I don't like to say look up to because this is not what I like to say. But people watch when you make moves, and the kind of moves that you make, they will either follow that as an example. You know what I mean? And so I will say something like a beacon because as soon as I did mine, and it was like the stories that came out after that, God was like, oh my gosh, finally somebody said some shit. Now let me talk about this story. That was one thing I revealed about myself. I never saw myself as
Wow.
beacon of light or of hope or something. I learned a ton from the guys. Well, actually, in terms of all of one of the things I learned about all of them in totality is like men love to speak. We love to talk. People like men don't like to talk. That's shit. Yes, they do. If you just provide the the space, and I know safe space is the normal term, but I like to say a brave space. It's one thing for people to be safe. You can listen all day to one person speak, but if there's a brave space as well as a safe space, that allows everybody to speak. So that was one of the things that I think we did well at creating is allowing these men to feel brave enough to actually tell that story in a safe space. Uh, so that was one thing I learned. Men love to be in a park. You provide that space, that environment for them to do so. Shit, they don't shut up.
I love to hear it. And again, it's the language and, bringing that up. Like you said, we always hear about safe spaces, but a brave space that does add a nuance to that. That's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. Here for it, a brave space. I like that. Is there any tips that you could give to women to provide that space or even other men? Like, what is the ingredients to providing a brave space? Or is that just an energetic thing? What do you think?
Damn, you have to be coming from a genuine place of understanding. Like, I want to hear this, and then allow them. They'll come to you eventually. But you got to be coming from a very genuine, I'm here to understand you. That's what I want your story. Tell it to me. And tell it to me how you want to tell it. And whenever you're ready to tell it. But literally, I just come from a very genuine, I want to listen to you. And once you do that, because a lot of times we fear rejection and we fear the judgment. But one thing that I've learned is like, shit, judge me, I don't give a damn. Here's my story. Now what? So now what? Where we at now? You can judge it all day, but what? What you trying to do? Because I'm about to go grab a bite to eat. Like, what do you want to do? So,
Right.
another thing that I discovered about me and the guys is like the story is out there now. So what's up? Do you want to fight now? I mean, okay. Now what? Like, it's just now what to me. You know what I mean? So that judgment after you told your story, it's out there. It's like, yeah, whatever. What you gonna say to me now? I've already given you me. What you gonna talk about me? Like, all right, I said that already. I'm not saying nothing I ain't said. Where we at? I mean, so those are some of the things that I've learned about myself and some of the guys. But as far as tips, just come from a very genuine place. You really you want to listen. You want to listen to you, tell your story, the way you want to tell it, and let that build.
Yeah, I love that. And it does put you in a position of power. People talk about, or want to be, in power in certain positions. And it's like, what's more powerful than putting it all out on the table? And it is what it is. This is my story. It happened. It's who I am. It's what it is. So what you think about it and all this extra stuff that we're generally concerned with becomes a non-factor. I already been talked
Mhm.
about. I already been lied. I already been. That is such a powerful position.
I will say this too. Another tip is them being vulnerable themselves. If I come to you and say I want to listen to your story, um, in my experience, I've done my relatability and built my rapport on my vulnerability. So I'll say something about myself that may be considered a negative or something that I've done that may have caused someone harm. I'll say it like, yeah, shit, yeah, I did that too. Man, I know what you're talking about because this happened. And all of a sudden, it's now you have some kind of common ground. Like, oh shit, you went through this too. Yeah, I did. And this is what happened to me. And all of a sudden, you look at them, the shoulders drop, the tension is eased a little bit. So your vulnerability as well. You be vulnerable, because it's one thing to say I'm here, genuinely here to listen. But it's another thing to be empathy. I'm here with you. If you're down in the basement, I'm down in the basement with you. I got a story to tell. Let's tell our story. That's empathy. Um, so that's another tip. I just thought about that.
Yeah, I agree. Great point. We have on Thursdays, Queens Glean. We gonna talk about you. Uh, all the ladies, we're gonna get together and talk about this stuff. But it is helpful, and again, to hear this from a man too, because vulnerability is something that we have to practice with you guys. Like again, when the narrative for men is a certain way, it affects the women, and you know I think it has created challenges for us to be vulnerable with you guys in certain ways. Like, oh, maybe he doesn't want to hear it. Maybe this is too much. Maybe this is too emotional. He don't seem like he really wants to receive all this information. I'm not comfortable. I don't want him to judge.
All that could be
So,
true though. Like all of that could be true. And
right.
you kind of, but it's a dance, right? Figuring out who your partner is or whoever it is you're speaking to, figuring out who they are as part of that dance. And yes, it may be too much at one time. They may have a short capacity for listening to a bunch of shit. I do sometimes. I'm like, all right, my capacity for hearing this right now is like, all right, listen, we need you to tone that down. We could talk about this later or something. And there are
Right.
times and places to have these kind of conversations. So all of those things can be true. So it's a dance, figuring out your partner, figuring out how the movement and the rhythm. That's all. It's all a part of it. So yeah, it might be too much at one time. It might be too early. You're like, hold on, lady. Yeah, ask me my last name first. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like all of those things can be true. It's just figuring it out. And I think that's part of the process as well. So figuring yourself out while you're doing it, figuring your partner out, or whoever you speak, figuring them out as well. And you know what I mean? And hopefully you guys are comfortable enough to say, all right, I do want to hear this, but let's table this right now. Or the game on, or girl, my show on, or whatever it is. I'm hungry, whatever it is. People listen better when you feed them.
You ain't never lied about that, sir.
Shit, if I'm hungry, I'm hearing you, but shit, listen.
I don't even know if I'm hearing you. I'm sitting up here thinking of what my order's going to be and how quick it's going to get here, where we're going.
Oh, I hear it, but shit, none of that shit register. You got relax.
No, that's true. And I even think I use that terminology a lot, the dance. And I think that when we are in tune with ourselves and we own our story and we're cool with who we are, that dance becomes easier because you're connected to the unseen, unspoken rhythm of things. And you can kind of gauge
Mm-hmm.
with people like how they're feeling or what's, or you might say something and like you said, table it, we could talk later, whatever. So it is much more than just word vomit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. That's a great way to put that. Um, so in one of the interviews that you put out, and then now, you know, now that I'm learning more about what you do, you talked about, you know, BLM being about police brutality too. But if we're not talking about mental health, what are we doing? And that's something that I feel strongly about. I feel like they got so much money. And I just feel like, wow, what if they paid Black therapists their full rate to get out here, get on your bus, okay, and take care of the root of the problem, which is mental health, especially in the Black community. You can build as many community centers and all of the fluff, and but it's still putting a band-aid on a bullet wound at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really wish that, you know, getting billions of dollars, that was doing. So I was going to ask you if you see an opportunity for us to be able to get a strong movement going that focuses on mental health. But since you're already doing that, do you see expansion for your
Mm-hmm.
business? And what does that look like?
I mean, not even just me. There's so many people doing the work right now. I don't know if people have been paying attention, but this mental health, especially among black and brown communities, is a bubbling on the bit. Speaking from a business aspect, it's a bubbling. It's there. It's sizzling right now. It's about to boil it up. So it's definitely a business to get into, and it's a business of service. You know what I mean? If you're really about it, it's of service. You know what I mean? You're serving the people, and so yeah, there is expansion. Um, I'm also one of those people though too. Like I'll start something, I'll see my project through, and I'll move on to something else. Let other people take it over. Do you? Please make it and expound on it, make it better. If you find something to make it better than mine, please go do so. If you want me to be involved with it, hit me up. We can see what we can do. But there's plenty of expansion. There's so many people doing work. I'm not even the first person to have this idea. I have the manner in which I want to do it might be is singular to my to me, but there are other people that have done these things before, and there have been programs like this before. But as you mentioned, police brutality and defunding, I like to call it budget cuts. Defunding sounds too formal. Budget cut police is my favorite thing because people know what budget cuts are. Y'all been budget cutting education for 50, 60 years. You know exactly what budget cuts are. Budget cut police, put that money back to where it needs to go because honestly, the job as policemen become a whole lot easier. You can still get the money. I'm not even mad about them getting paid when they get paid. You can still get your bread, but your job becomes easier. Because you don't have to deal with the BS. You have professionals to do it. And if you're one of those people that really like you about that, all action, you're trying to beat bad guys over the head, then you need to go to war or something. You need to go do something. Policing is not cool. Because now you're dealing with the community, and community don't need to be bashed on a damn head every time you step out. So you need to go do something else. You don't need to do it. But budget cut the ass in, man. Like it makes your job easier if other people have the funding because that gives other people opportunities. It gives us opportunities to come in and help where they really need the help. You don't need to go to prison. You need to be sat there. You don't need to go to prison because you're addicted to drugs. You need drug rehabilitation. That kind of thing. And we all know this is where we can go down. I can go down a rabbit hole with this. Like if you want to deal with crime, you need to give them opportunity and resources. You got people fighting for scraps. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Give them some food, let the resources be there. They can have access to it. You ain't got to worry about that shit. And clearly, it'll take some generations to, undo some of the things that have been done. But it could happen. You guys just don't know that.
Yeah, I definitely feel the generational wealth of it. But it's like, hey, if your goal is not, it's big enough to be completed in this lifetime, it's probably not big enough. So I do agree. Yeah, like if you want to be an MMA fighter, the police force is probably not.
Yeah, I'm a cop because I want to beat people. I'm trying to shoot the shit. I'm like, yeah, bro, this not for you. You need to go enlist. You know what I mean? There's a couple of battles you can fight somewhere.
Right. Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. And
just change your target. You beating us over the head, but shit, I didn't see no black people at Washington on the 6th trying to kill no damn politicians. It's a whole group you can go ahead and tear down if you want to. They look like you, but there's some action for you. ...
So what you gonna do?
There's some terrorism next door. You can definitely have at it.
there's so many other games being played when it comes to all this, and it's really
Absolutely.
unfortunate because the solution, you just said it so easily and within 60 seconds. Why
It's
is this
really
so
not that
hard to
hard. It's not
grasp?
rocket science.
It's
It's
not
not hard
rocket
at all. They just
science.
don't want to. These studies have been done for generations. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's right there in your face. You just don't want to. There's no need for another. I don't need New York Post to do another Huffington Post, whatever, to do another expose and spending funding on this. You know what the fucking answers are. You know what the problems are. They're saying the same shit that you know. They either want to or they don't. Maybe they don't.
And that's why I love what you're doing, and the ability for me to have my platform, and like you said, so many other people who are doing it and showing up in their own way. Every little bit counts. And we don't need to be reliant. We have enough. I've lived overseas, and all countries are very interested in what African American people specifically are doing. We got enough influence. We got enough
We
sauce.
absolutely do. Yeah, we do.
So it's just time that we just
Absolutely.
do the good work.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, speaking of work, with the narrative that goes on for men, you need to work hard, you need to do this, you need to be the provider, blah, blah, blah. How do you unwind and unplug? And is there any guilt associated with resting or taking the time you need to gather yourself?
Unwind and unplug is my saying no.
Mm.
Nope. I'm good. I don't want to.
No, I
Yeah,
don't want to do it.
that's how I get out of overworking. And I've always been. It's funny because even as a kid, I was always, that whole hard work thing was always bullshit to me. And I come from the athlete world, so it was always clearly you do have to work hard. But the whole notion of work hard and you'll get somewhere was like, yeah. My, I come from a middle class family. My father always had a really great job. My mother did too. They made, we were broke sometimes, but never poor. So I can't sit here and speak that I come from I did. So I watched my parents work hard as shit, but we were broke sometimes. We really didn't move up like that. You know what I mean? I have family that grew up poor, and I have friends that grew up poor. Their mothers and their fathers busted their ass day in and day out. Didn't change shit.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't change a damn thing about their tax brackets in life. And I would never tell them people that they never worked hard. I watched them bust their ass
Mm-hmm.
and come home and be a parent the best that they could. They worked hard. Didn't change a goddamn thing. So for me, it's saying no, I'm good. And do I feel guilty about it? Hell no. Nah, I got to serve me first. If I'm not efficient, if I'm not rested, I'm not well. I can't be out there doing the work that I do. So if you want me to be at my best, let me get my rest.
Oh, I like that. Time to make some t-shirts.
Bars.
For real.
Bars start rapping. No, yeah, man. If you want me to do my best, let me get my rest. If I tell you no, I just told you no. Go find somebody else that can do it for you. I ain't the only one that can do what I'm able to do. There are other people that can do this shit too. Ask them. Go pay somebody to do it too. Like there's resources around. So if I can't, by all means, go find somebody.
No, I
If you
like
really
that.
want me to do something, just wait till I'm ready to do the shit.
Yeah, no, I like that attitude and that energy. And I asked because I feel like there is a guilt associated with it. Like you feel like you have to say yes because, some people have the complex of being like a rescuer, or like I said, I'm the provider, I'm the man, I got to do this. Or even from an ego standpoint, like, oh, here's a chance for me to show up and prove or show and blah, blah, blah. But I notice a lot of my guy friends, I'm often telling them to rest because I'm like, dude, you're burning out. You don't have to do all that to be successful. Like you said, the hard
I
work.
always say the work will be there tomorrow. The work will be there tomorrow. The work isn't going any damn where. As soon as you wake up in the morning, it'll be, hey, buddy,
you got some work to
buddy,
do. Yeah.
you're the work still here. The work is not going no damn way. Yeah, you got to go brush your teeth, but we here. We was waiting on you. I missed you yesterday. Okay, work is not going nowhere. And especially if you're like an entrepreneur type, whatever you do, it doesn't matter. The work is going to be there. Take your damn vacations. I travel. I make sure I travel, whether it's within the States or out of the country. I'm out of here. Shit.
Yeah.
Every chance I get. Hell yeah. But again, the work will be there. It's not going nowhere. Because of that, I'm not going to let the work dictate how I move. So work. Yeah, I'll be there. Relax.
Yeah, and that's a mindset too. Just like with all this other stuff we're talking about, it's a mindset shift. We've learned all of these things, and all of these narratives have kind of been forced on us, and it's low key not the reality of what we really need to function. So it's so much unlearning and new flow that we have to learn just to attain everything. Like you said, you've seen families work
Cool.
your tail
Mm-hmm.
off, but it don't change your tax
Keep on
bracket.
saying.
Something's wrong. What are we doing?
They ain't been able to go on no damn vacation. Maybe Disneyland. You know what I mean? Like, that don't change. Take your
You're not
trips. Take
present.
your
Yeah.
PTOs. Say no. If you really don't want to, then don't. Or say I can. I will, but maybe later. Let me get some time to myself. Or let me tend to whatever relaxation is for you. Some relaxation may be going to tend to your garden. I don't know. Whatever it is to you. Me personally, I like to sleep. I get all my rest.
You like to
And
to
sit my
sleep?
ass.
Oh yeah.
I'll get all my sleep. What? I'm in bed at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
I love it. Rest is productive. You can't function. The body,
Yeah,
it's like a car with no gas. Like, where are we going with no gas? I
yeah.
need to
That
sleep.
people, people like I sleep when I'm dead. Shit, if you don't sleep, you will be dead sooner than you know.
Correct. And I'm gonna be over here napping. Keep these years on my
Shit,
life.
shit, dead as shit. Skin, my skin is still doing all right. I'm a little older now. Shit, I mean, you doing all right because I rest. You see
Okay.
it.
Come on now. I heard that. Seriously. It is what it is. Okay, here's the one. And I know you have a good answer for this, especially because you talked to 50 some odd men about this. How is pride and strength defined through the eyes of a man? What does that definition of pride come from? Or what does that look like to you?
What does it look like to me?
Yeah, like when you think of being, what makes you proud? What gives you self-esteem? What gives you pleasure to show up as a man? Like, this is, I'm proud. Like, what defines
Yeah, I
that
hear you.
for you? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah,
Or gives you a
that's a good
deep
question.
pleasure, satisfaction. Like, for some women, it's nurturing their family. For some, it's, whatever. But
Honestly, damn, that's a good one. It would be clearing the path for myself. Um, you can not that he had to take my path, but knocking down barriers and doors and stuff. So if my son does want to, and even things in life that I've experienced that slapped me in the face, he's not catching any of the debris. He's not catching any backlash. He's not catching any slaps himself. So that's it for me. Taking steps, making moves, so that my son doesn't have to face those hardships that I've had. That's what it is. And also giving my son something to brag about. My son is an adult now, and I know he talks about his dad, but I always wanted to be like my dad. My dad that beat your daddy ass kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Exactly.
I remember those conversations as a kid. My dad they beat your daddy up, but it's always fun and games. But I for real wanted my son to be able to say, "Well, my dad, blah 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 this, that." There's something to brag about. When he's dating now, so I'm starting to meet girlfriends and their families and shit. And when he speaks about his father, I want him to be able to, like, yeah. So your daddy better step his game up because when my daddy walk in, this is what my daddy do.
Right.
And that's the kind of thing that gives me my pleasure and it feeds the ego a bit. But again, walking the path, making it easier for my son to walk his path is probably the biggest.
Yeah. No, that warms my heart because that's amazing. You want that for your kids, and it matters so much. I'm a daddy's girl. And I'm like that about I'm like, my dad is the best person I know. My dad I brag on my daddy. And it's because he put in the effort and the work, and I appreciate it. As his child, I'm a grown woman, but that's still my dad. Like,
Right. The
hero
same thing. My dad is
trophies.
my hero. Yeah, that's
That's
my
right.
guy.
Yeah. And so that's a
Mhm.
beautiful thing for me to have an experience, which I know it is for your son, but also as a father, it's amazing because it really means you're showing up for your stuff. You're doing the right thing. You're paving the way, and making the space. And we need it. We love it. And we don't forget it as the
And it's a
kids.
way for my to hold myself accountable because I can't let kid down. I can't not fall through with, I tell them all the things that I'm doing that I want to accomplish. I can't
Hmm.
not go through it. And I haven't told the kid. And if he out there telling his friends, like my daddy said he gonna do this, but shit, daddy got to make sure it happens because now son is a liar. I can't have my son out here lying in the streets. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I can't let my son out somewhere. He's in college now, and my son out there, he done met a young lady. He like my dad did this, and yeah, I'll be able to do this and dad, and I don't come through. Now the chick looking at him like, nah, I let my kid down. He mad. I can't do that. Yeah, I gotta help my baby out, man. I
Right.
gotta help him out in life. Yeah, I can't let kid down.
Right. Plus, these kids got smartphones. They're like, your dad did what? Where? Like,
Google.
yeah.
So wait till I do it first, then tell
Right.
him. Then you tell him I can't not do. So it's another thing that holds me accountable that I gotta see these things too. And if it does not happen, like I failed, it won't be because I didn't try or put forth the best effort. But when I say failure is just a lesson. So it's a lesson learned. And I can give that to.
That's what I was going to say. Even if it doesn't work out the way you said it was going to, it's still an opportunity for a great lesson on life for him to see, like, this is how things look sometimes. And failure, it's all perceived failure. Usually it's just, what do I say? It's a succession step to success. It's just, this is success. This is part of it.
I always say it's not failure, it's just a lesson.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I keep it simple. I tell it to my students, you didn't fail. You learned something, though. You learned what not to damn do, at least.
Yeah.
You learned what you did do, wasn't it? Learn something.
That's successful. I love it. That. Yeah. So, I love that. That's sweet. I love it. So let's see. I was checking our time. All right. What does being reactive look like? And how do men go about unlearning the defensive response of reacting?
First, unlearning. You can't unlearn a damn thing. That's one thing I always want to say. You can't unlearn. You can learn new, but you cannot unlearn. Mm-hmm. Learning new habits is a thing, but you cannot unlearn what you know. I can't tell you to not unlearn spelling your name. I can't tell you to unlearn walking unless you get some accident physically. You can't do it. But you can't unlearn shit unless you catch a case of full-blown amnesia, which is very, very rare. You'll catch some remnants of it. You can't. Like, you forgot every damn thing? Yeah, that's rare.
Right.
But you can't unlearn a damn thing. You can learn new.
I like that.
Form new habits and form new things. But you cannot unlearn and so. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if I want to necessarily unlearn because I know what that was like. And that is an experience that I can take, and that's a story that I can take, and lessons that I can take and spit that knowledge elsewhere to generations after me. And even generations before me. So reaction, what does reaction look like? Well, because I have the questions right here. That's why I'm looking down.
Oh, okay.
I'm one of those nerdy kids. I got mine right here.
I love it.
What does being reactive look like, and how do men go about defensive response of reacting? And again, this is going to be a generational thing because we have been attacked so much. Our first response is, again, it's fight or flee or nothing. We've been attacked so much, and it's from all aspects of life. We've always been attacked, and I'm trying to say, woe is us, but when you're attacked so much, what are you supposed to do? You defend. Now, there are several, to me, how I look at it, there are several ways you can look at being attacked, or why you're being attacked, or how you're being attacked, or who's doing the attacking. Redefining that. I know a lot of times when we hear from our women, it seems like an attack, but in reality, they literally want the best of us and for us and from us. And so some of the things that they're saying isn't because they're attacking, it's because, nigga, you need to do better. And you can do better, and I want you to do better. And so thinking about it, and I've had to do that work myself, and like listening, like, oh shit, she's however it's coming out. I used to see it as as an attack. Like, wait, but she's not attacking. What is she really asking of me? She's asking me to do better because she can see I can do better, and she wants better. Why not? Why can't we have better? Why can't she have better from me? It hasn't always worked. I haven't always been better. I haven't always given that effort. I haven't always stepped up to the plate. definitely lacked a lot of times in it, but I'm recognizing it now. Over the past several years since I've been in therapy for sure, and it's still a work in progress.
Hmm.
Um, so I will say the defense response to reacting is a generational thing. This is you can go back to slave times, obviously. They deliberately broke up the nuclear family kind of deal. Um, hopefully I answered that. I know what I can say.
No, you did. I think it's great. I like what you say because I use the word unlearning all the time, but you're right. I guess at the end of the day, it's just relearning new habits and new things that will allow you. So, yeah, it's like you gave the example of even the woman. Is she really attacking you? Like, can you listen differently? Can you get a new ear and understand, open up, have more understanding, more listening skills to see where the things are actually coming from and reframe your thought process? Because I, again, this is something me and my girls talk about. As Black women, we be feeling attacked. And it's like people aren't
Absolutely.
always coming at you. So we have to tune our
Yeah,
ear to
absolutely.
figure out, yeah, when is this a situation and when is it like, no, it's okay to be soft. It's okay to be open. It's okay to be receptive here. You don't have to fight here. So you're right. It's very generational because it's our great great grandparents that raised our great grandparents that raised the grandparents and if we don't have the language and tools
Mm-hmm.
to see where the stuff is
And,
coming from.
and I'm glad you brought up parenting because even as kids, we feel like our parents are attacking us. And as a parent myself, and again, my dad is my hero, but my dad did some fuck shit. He did some fuck nigga shit sometimes. And as an adult, being, as my dad's been 22, I've been 22. My dad's been 30, I've been, you know what I mean? I'm seeing where he was at in life and understanding like shit, he was learning how to be a parent because each age is new for him. He never raised actually he has because I have older siblings. But I'm different from my siblings, right? He has never raised a 40-year-old. Yeah, he's never raised at that point. And because we're all different, like, yeah, it's different every year. I've never raised a 19-year-old son. I've never, you know what I mean? So it's new for me. I don't know what the hell happens. I know what happened to me at 19. And so understanding now that parents are learning every year because it's new for them. And a lot of times, and being a parent and knowing the shit that happens in the world that our kids have no idea about because they haven't experienced it yet, I can understand why we always laugh about, that meme goes around about not having that chicken frozen when mom gets home from work. Well, I understand why she'd be pissed the fuck off
Now.
after the day she done had, and now she got to come home and that chicken ain't thawed. Shit, I get it. But as a kid, I'm like, what the fuck is he bitching about? Like, we just can't go to McDonald's? My parents had McDonald's money. I get not wanting to go to fucking McDonald's and spend it.
Right.
But I also, like, at the time as a kid, like, why is he mad about McDonald's? Get a McNugget meal for $4. I get it now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I understand that it wasn't necessarily their attack on me. It was an attack on their day. But here I am as child, as son, sisters and brothers, like we're catching it, but it really wasn't us. And sometimes it is you, because some of you good kids need the ass kicked sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes we are being shitty. Sometimes we aren't listening. And sometimes you are getting on your parents' last day on earth. You know what I mean? Sometimes they do have to yell at you. It happens because we're kids and this is what we do.
Yeah.
But understanding that now as a dad, and like I said, doing the work that I've been doing for myself, with myself, I get why it seemed like they were attacking me. Okay, I'm running away. I can shit up there. I didn't ask to be here. No, you didn't.
Yes.
But you could help make some shit easier. Go throw out that goddamn chicken. You'll do nothing else. Ain't pay the bill. Go throw out that chicken.
Man.
Get home and that kid, and the dishes is, or there's one spoon in the sink. I get why that one spoon set you off, Mom, Dad. I get it now. I understand now. I get it. Why the fuck is there a spoon in here? I don't want, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I get it.
The spoon.
I
It's the
understand
one
now.
spoon.
It's that one spoon. You know, wash all the dishes, but kids, they be hungry shit late night, come in. I was one
I
of
had a
those.
snack.
All the tourists would come in. A little snack. And you think like you need to leave that butter knife because you're gonna make that sandwich later. You're gonna make another one. You don't want to use another knife.
I don't want to
Leave
use
it on the
another one.
sides. I get it. I get why they were upset, and I understand. And I see why it was an attack on me.
Yeah.
I get it. Life was whooping their ass.
Right. And all I'm asking
So
you
at
to
the
do
job
is
did
listen.
whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just start the shit. I don't want to wake up to no dishes in my sink. That kind of thing. Why is your room blah blah? Blah. I don't want to look. I get it now because having a chaotic room where shit is everywhere is chaotic for your day. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I get it now. At the time, it's like, damn, why are they checking me? You ain't do nothing.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
clothes.
Yeah. It's just
I'm aware it's gonna get dirty.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get it now. So I'm glad you brought parenting that because
Yes.
that's a big one.
It's major. It dictates everything. Cause and then yeah, because now you get it, but it's still you carry some of that with you into your parenting. And like
Absolutely.
here we are in
So
a cycle of
I try. I still get in him, but I try to come from a position of like I'm not aggressive towards it. No. But I'm very lazy in parenting, so a lot of my parenting is for efficiency. So I started him early on a lot of shit. You know what I mean?
right.
So
I'm gonna need you to make your own sandwiches, please.
I
And
taught him how
whatever
to cook
else.
early.
Yeah.
Me and his mother. Yeah, kid, I'm tired of you waking me up at 6 a.m. talking about you hungry. You get milk on the bottom, go climb up there. Yeah, all that. I get talking about the eggs as soon as you're able to. We did all that. So I'm tired of cleaning up after you, all that. Yeah, Daddy got a game for you.
Right. Let's see how
You know,
quick you
and
can get all these countertops
yeah.
done and sweep the floor.
And
5 minutes go.
he used to be with me, he used to be an athlete as well. So we used to work out all the time. And I used to have him around professional athletes and have him around collegiate athletes. So you should see the work. And I used to be like, so if you want to get your back right, you want to get that mop, get that
Because you work
exercise.
in those. Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you working those
Exactly.
back muscles. So you trying to get big like that? Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
I parented out of pure laziness and efficiency. Worked out
I
because the
could
kids.
so see myself doing that.
Hell yeah, absolutely. It works like a charm too. The guy, I
Awesome.
instilled that stuff early, so now I don't really, I have a really good kid, man. He really is not a problem at all. Not
I
much of a
love it.
problem. I hear about some kids, man, but my kid is. I'm bragging on you, but he's a really good kid. Me and his mother really had very minimal issues. Yeah.
I love to hear it. Go kid. We love it. I'm taking notes. Efficiency. Because I'm the same way. I was raised. Now that I look back, I'm like, dang, I was taking care of my sisters. I was cooking, clean. I was doing all of the things. Like, y'all didn't really have to, because I was out there trying to handle it. But it was helpful
And
and it
see,
made me a better person.
right. And see, what my parents did, they allowed me all the freedom as long as shit was taken care of. And I love my freedom. So all
Yes.
I got to do is this: say no more.
Done.
Say no more. That's all. What you
Can
want
I
me to do?
go? Right.
And I can be out. Man, what? Let me go handle this real quick. I did the same thing with my son. You do what you want to do. I ain't gonna tell you what you can't do.
Right.
Sure, you got to check in and all that. I'm gonna make sure you're safe, but nigga, as long as the shit is done, I can't tell you no. Don't give me a reason to tell you no. My dad used to say that to me all the time. B, don't give me a reason to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And if I gave him one, and nigga was like, nah, I'm like, man, that's some bullshit.
And that's
You
on
don't
you.
even want to be here no more.
Right. My
I
uncle
ain't
used to
asked to
tell
be
me,
here.
yeah, stick your lip in. That was on you.
But that was the thing too. It was like, well, you have the freedom. You don't take care of your responsibilities, so freedom gone. So he like
Which is
Jedi
real
mind trick.
life. Yeah.
It's real life.
Real life. That doesn't change. So I love it because this is going in a perfect flow. And I wanted to ask, the conversation amongst men when it comes to family and legacy. And is there still a high interest in the nuclear family? Because I know a lot of men are, as you should be about your kids, like, of course. But is there still that desire to build family and legacy with one woman, grow old with them, and, raise the kids together and have it be a little traditional? Is that still
Mm-hmm.
on the table?
Yeah, still is.
Okay.
Easy answer. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Still
simple.
do
Yeah,
it.
okay. Sometimes I ask because just again, the culture and the climate of things sometimes you get a lot of narrative as if having a wife is so tough, it's so difficult, it's so much. I'd rather just, and then, a lot of people are split up and it's just all about the kids. And then when it becomes all about the kids, you're not so much thinking about getting married to a woman. You just want your kids to be good, da da da. So the way I grew up, I'm an 80s baby. Everything was about family. The Coca-Cola commercial was about a family. Like now it's just, and it's not a bad thing because things happen. It's whatever. It's not a bad thing. I just don't know if men are like, okay, this is what I want. This nuclear family, wife, mom, and it
Yeah,
just
they do.
be.
It still happens. It happens a lot. Most of my friends are married.
Mm-hmm.
shit, I'm one of the few not unmarried men in the group, in the crew. But yeah, no, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I think this is also a conversation, a different kind of conversation, because there's so many aspects that we can look at with it,
Hmm.
through different lenses, excuse me, vantage points. But I do want to say, I think I've never been married, so I'm talking out of some experience that I ain't had. But a lot of it, I think, from what I've seen and what I've heard, has been women now have more freedom, more options, more choices to do as they please.
Hmm.
So if the dynamic has changed, it's because women have more options and more choices and more freedoms. They make them on that. You don't
Hmm.
need traditionally. They couldn't have a bank account. Them having women having bank accounts is relatively new. Maybe like past 50 years, something like that.
Hmm.
It's relatively new. Divorce was illegal. You couldn't get a person. Marriage was for rich people only. You were too poor to get married, and now you're too poor to get divorced. You know what I mean? Like, it was so many. It was so many things that were different for women as an option. Now that they have the option now, so I think that would, to me, as I see it, would be one of the things that really brought the change in how we do things, which is dope. I don't shit think about me at all. I think it's cool. Either way it goes, it's not for me to say it's bad. If that's what they like, have at it, lady. Have all the options and utilize them as your heart desires. Please do. Shit, you want to be married five times? Don't get married five. I hope you get every alimony check
I was
and
say
child support
alimony.
you want, sweetie. Go and get it. Go get it, sweetie. That shit is great either way to me. But I think that's one of the major shifts in the family dynamic is that women have more options. Hell, they damn don't even need a man to get pregnant no more. Shit. You know what I mean? Like you can go on an
The
app and pick
bank.
the nigga you want.
It's
Yeah,
true.
he got to be this. I want him this height, this education,
It's
red
true.
eyes, all that. You don't even need a man to get pregnant now. You know what I
It's
mean?
true.
So that would be that. I think that would be the bigger shift in how we do the nuclear thing. But men want it though. To answer your question, absolutely. Men still get married. Men
Yeah.
still get married to black women, black men, because we're black. We're gonna talk about it. I deal with black men. I deal with my community. Black men marry black women at 88%. I know
Right.
there's a big conception like, black men marry outside of their race. No, they don't. They do. It's a
Hmm.
percentage of them.
Right.
I've dated outside of my race, and the women were great. No knock against anyone. I love
Yeah.
black women to the heart.
Yeah.
But, you know, 88, I think it's 88% of black men marry black women. We ain't going nowhere. Let's go. Yep, I
Right.
still got a chance.
We
So,
good. Relax.
lay
Yeah,
black
we
ladies
healing.
out there, black men out there, listen, y'all gonna marry each other at a high rate. Don't worry about it. It's not that big of a epidemic that it's not happening. It's happening at a high rate. We get it.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that you mentioned that because it is a thing. And then, it goes back to the marketing of things, the way we're marketed to, whether it's how to be a man, what to do to be this kind of woman, what's family, what's this, what's that, um, even the not having the introduction to mental health in certain space, everything that we're going through, we're marketed to. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they gonna play up on there's no black families, black men ain't doing this because it continues to create a gap between us.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we're not talking because we're mad and we're not using our language and tools to get through this, I mean, it just becomes a noisy mess depending on what side of the spectrum you're on, what information you're leaning into or not. Um,
All right.
so yeah, it's very important. Yes. Love to hear it. So when you guys are together, do you guys hold each other accountable when it comes to your goals and purpose and romance? Are you guys intentionally being good accountability partners to each other and encouraging each other to walk in purpose, marry the right woman, don't cheat on her, marry
I
somebody
can't speak
who
about I can't speak about other groups, but shit, mine, them niggas get on my damn nerves with that.
they be in your face?
I mean, we do it to each other. They get on my damn nerves. You know what I mean? You be trying to slip up. Yeah, I'm a nigga. No, you're not.
No.
Yeah, they get on my damn nerves. I can't speak about other groups, but my crew, it's always if you need correcting, they gonna correct you, or they gonna quick too. If you've been out of, and it could be from anything from us not, my all my friends have kids now, and as uncles, If we ain't been by the sea, you gonna hear about it. You ain't been by the sea your niece or your godson, your goddaughter. Oh, we gonna hear about it. You know what I mean? You ain't been by, you ain't seen wife, whatever. Like the niggas get on my damn nerves. I'm telling you, I love it, but they get on my fucking nerves, and I know that I get on their nerves too. Oh, word? Yeah, that ain't right. You better go fix that. And it's we've taken what we've learned in athletics as far as accountability and being a teammate and all of those things, and we translated it into our friendships. And most of my friends are athletes or were athletes. And I ain't talking about just to high school, past high school, collegiately and professionally, because those are rare. Not everybody gets to do that. Not everybody gets to, to play at a high level. Excuse me, or play at the highest levels in their respective sports. And we've taken those tools that we've learned that, and because we've been in that world together, whether we played against each other or with each other, that accountability aspect of the team sport has never left. And again, the niggas get on my brain nerves with that shit, but they do it. It's relationships. If we acting up or if there's an issue, it's going to the chat. We're gonna give our respective opinions or what we think, we're going to give what from our viewpoint, what it is, how we think about it, what we feel, and blah blah blah. So it happens a lot in my crew. I can't talk about relationship. I don't know that.
Right.
I'm kissing my ass with that shit all the time.
Y'all on it, like y'all are on it, and that's good because so much of from what I learned, just from interviewing and speaking with you guys, so much of what comes out of your life and your accountability and how you move and stuff comes from your peers. Like y'all check in with each other. You guys have brotherhood in a particular way where you care what your friends think or how they, you know what I mean? If you have the wrong friends, you'll eventually start making the wrong moves.
I will say this, as far as like therapy goes, I was probably one of the first in my crews, and I have friends that I've had since I was knee high. You know what I mean? And we've grown together. And obviously they have certain crews that, friends that they developed, and as I have as well. And sometimes we all are able to get together and hang out. This is my friends I'm from Las Vegas. This is my friends from Vegas. These are my LA guys. These are my I've traveled a lot too. So I've made genuine friends, and we've all been able to link up, and they've all shared similar characteristics, which is why I think we're still friends to this day and continue to build on that. But even something like you can't be in our crew and be a deadbeat dad. Kind of there have been times where, friends have been on the verge of breakups and divorces where and it's happened, but not because we said, fuck that, get rid of her, blah, blah, blah. No. We're going to give you the, what we think is, the real talk from this. And sometimes they've gone and tried to do the work and it just didn't work out that way. But the accountability is sleeping. Excuse me, in our circles, and I really do appreciate it. And as far as therapy goes, I was one of the first in all of my crews to go to therapy. There have been a couple of guys that had gone, but they never spoke about it. And here I come, starting to go to therapy, like, hey man, you niggas go to therapy?
Right. My therapist said, yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
I was in the group as soon as I went, like maybe like after you got to get acclimated. So after like the 5th or 6th one, I kind of got in the groove. I was in the chats, lad, man. I got therapy today. What y'all doing?
Yeah.
I need to go. Go holler at that. And then all of a sudden, they started. A couple of the homies like, yeah, I had gone before, but I hadn't gone in a while. It's been some years. I used to go as a kid. I stopped going. And most of the guys in recent years have started to go, continue to go, to do the check-in and stuff. So we'll say that. Y'all welcome getting y'all back into therapy or starting y'all into therapy. I'm going to say that. Welcome.
That part, just being that beacon, that game changer, getting it started.
Right.
No, I love
being
it.
open, because I was on social media talking about it. I would go. I'm on Twitter a lot. I'm on Twitter like therapy Thursdays. I was going to therapy on Thursdays. It just so happened. I was hashtagging the therapy Thursday, and I was very vocal and open about it. I might post a picture of me and my therapist's feet or something. I'm in therapy today. I was very, very vocal, very out and open. Not even just a chat, just on social media. And some guys that I've never met that I only know through social media, like, shit, you was talking about it. I decided.
That's so good. That's so good. That's all it takes. Yeah.
Man, like, shit, if you break your leg and go to the doctor, you might post about that, and your emotions and your mental is broke. Go get that shit. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. Another thing that has been so stigmatized, like don't be telling people your business, get what happens at home, keep our business in the
Everything.
house and all of this stuff. And then generationally, the trust factor, I could see why our grandparents didn't go to therapy. Who were they going to go to? Where, when, how,
Now,
what money,
for them,
what?
I had this conversation with my uncle. For his generation, and ours too, but more so for their generation, like, any decision resulted in death. You couldn't go to my damn doctor and say, you couldn't even talk about the spectrum. If you had a kid that was autistic, you can't go and say my kid is autistic. They'll hang him or her. And I'm not even exaggerating. You know what I mean? You can't talk about your kid having cerebral palsy. They're going to hang him or her. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
he was right. Like, yeah, mental health. Didn't think about that shit. I could even go use the bathroom at the gas station. I go around the back and piss. They're not thinking about that. There was nothing about,
Correct.
what I mean? They do recognize that there are issues, yes, but every decision that they made could result in death for them. We have more freedoms now because of that. So I understand our grandparents and generations, even
Right.
even
What they
knowing
were
the
going to
term
get. Yeah. From who? The
therapy for white
grandparents
people.
that
I
could.
get that.
Correct. Yes.
And the white people had the money to do so. We didn't have that shit. So I get it. There's no therapists that look like us. I think 2% are people of color. Less than 1 are black. You know what I mean? So I can understand generations prior to us.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing therapy, not knowing mental health. The term itself is like, I can see them turning their nose up at it because of, the life that they were living at the time. So
Yeah.
I don't fault them.
Of course.
So 80s babies, millennials, Gen Zs, some Gen Xers. Yeah, it's on us.
Yeah,
It
it
is on
is.
us to break those generational curses, and that's a task that we can do. So don't feel bad about it. Don't let that pressure get to you, but it is on us.
Yeah.
Because your parents and your grandparents, yeah, the niggas couldn't even use the bathroom at the front. White only fountains and shit. You know what I mean? Schools just got to be segregated 60, whatever, in the 60s. There are
Mm-hmm.
some schools and districts that are segregated now. Shit ain't went away. So, cut them some slack. Cut them a little bit of slack. Have some understanding and language and tools. Listen.
There you go. That's what it is. No, it's true. Yeah, no, all facts, all facts. So this is my last question.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm pretty sure it is, but we'll just, is purpose a discussion amongst men? And when dating, are you choosing or seeking partners that can support you in your purpose? Is that one of the vetting conversations when y'all are out here finding partners?
I mean, it is now. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it is now. I had lived a very, very fun life, especially in my 20s. I had a
Yeah,
blast. Oh my
I
God.
mean, as you should.
Enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed all of it. Even the relationships that didn't work, they were amazing women.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're looking for purpose. I mean, as we get older, we're definitely looking for people to support the purpose and vice versa. And even if for my friends that have been in relationships early in life and are still with these, I have friends that have been married to their high school sweetheart. They're
Yeah.
continuously finding new purpose, and that hasn't always been great for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it shouldn't be. It's healthy to have. Once you're in that down slope, that's when you're discovering new things. There's change coming. So I feel like
Yes.
that's kind of healthy to have. But yeah, we're looking for. I am. If
Mm-hmm.
you can't support my purpose, and even from the smallest things of I'm changing, I'm going to therapy, learning new things about myself. There are things that have happened in my past that I am just now addressing,
Mm.
and because I'm just now addressing it, I'm some shit is going to change, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
reacting a certain way to certain things, and it's a change for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, I'm going to need your patience to support that.
Right.
And then my purpose is going to change in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hope that, but first of all, you can't date me and not have gone to therapy or will not go to therapy. Let's just get that out the way. I've
Right.
said that a lot. Have you been to therapy?
Right.
No? You're not going? All right, well, this ain't gonna work. Period.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you when to go, how often you got to go, but it has to be on the horizon because this ain't gonna work at all for me.
Right.
Um,
Mm.
but yeah, and if you are in therapy, I expect your purpose to change somehow, some way, even if it's a slight change, I expect it. And when it changes, I expect you to talk to me about it. And if I am not in that future of yours any longer, let me know. I get it. Shit happens. You know
Right. Let
what?
me
You
know.
were. I've gone because it's happened to me actually. I had a girlfriend in therapy, and some shit that she needed to work out, and felt like I was no longer a part of that journey. She had to let it go for her. All right, cool. Do you get it done? And rather
Yeah.
that than you stick around and here we are, blah blah blah. So,
Why are we still here?
but yeah,
Yeah.
we are, and I say we are again. Most of my friends are married or are about to be. Um, Looking for somebody to support purpose, our purpose, and for us to support their purpose as well. I can't speak for no other groups. I don't know them niggas. I know my
Yeah.
people.
I
My
mean,
people.
yes.
I don't know
Well,
what
this
them
is
niggas is
about you.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope them other guys get to a point to where that purpose is important. But I don't know y'all. Sorry. You watching
But
this, you
it's
want to
all
comment and say,
good.
yeah, cool, join it.
Right.
I just don't like speaking. I try my best not to speak for other people or for people that I
Yeah.
don't know. Because I
Yeah.
don't know you. I don't know what y'all
But you know firsthand the power of sharing your story and what you and your
do. You
friends
know
do
that.
or what y'all went through. It's gonna resonate and land where it does for the people who are open to it but might not have the language or tools or understanding or whatever. And boom, done and done. If y'all wanna be the one to step your game up in your group because you've heard this man and how they talk, great. Like that's that's it. That's all. It's all good.
It's a lot of fun. I'm gonna say that, man, because the groups have been. We are who we are. We've been holding each other accountable and therapy and all that. The hanging out is so much more fun. When we hang
Right.
out, it's fun with the wives and the girlfriends, and even if it's a woman they met or it's a dude they met, whatever. It's so much more fun. It's more relaxed now. The conversations don't. I can't tell you. I can't even tell you the last time there's been an actual argument about
Right.
any of these things. There have been heated discussions, but I can't tell you the last time there's been an argument, like a full
Right.
blown. Nah, you know what I mean? Like, nah, you might have to see me. I can't tell you the last time it's been. Um, when we get to hang out and traveling, we get to travel a lot more. Goals get accomplished.
Right.
I can reach out to my guys and vice versa, and they have a connect for me to be able to do some things, which means you get a little bit more bread, which means you get a little more freedom, which means we get to travel a lot more.
Yeah.
So life has gotten, I don't know if life has gotten easier, but perception wise, it seems like it to me. Maybe life is still hard or harder, but it doesn't seem like it. My support group is phenomenal. We're able to have a good time. And again, I can't tell you the last time the group has had an argument. Like, shit. Yeah, I can't even. I literally have to ask them, like, when was the last time the group had an
Like,
argument?
yeah.
Somebody in the group argued for it.
Right.
I'd have to ask. It's been years.
I mean, I love it, and it does sound easier because, again, all the work that you're doing and what you guys are putting in, and the new modalities that you're using to function is more the right way than all the bull we've been taught. So it's like, why wouldn't
Hmm.
it be easier? Now we're not fighting against our natural flow just to survive. Survival mode is over. That ain't it.
I'm trying to live.
We're
I'm gonna
thriving
leave
over
this earth
here,
one day. I'm trying to
man.
live good.
Period. I'm it's over. Survival, it is
Yeah.
an end of an era.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Gotta be. It has to be.
And there's ease, flow, and happiness and joy and growth and healthy conversations and all of that is in there. So yeah, it's better. It's
All of that.
easier, it's more fun, to function with the homies now and life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I appreciate like all your time and everything that you're doing. I want to stay connected to you. I mean, I'm new in this space. I'm not a mental health professional either. And to be honest, the most I've done is group therapy, but I've worked a lot with like women and retreats. And that's actually what prompted this is the guys were seeing me like, y'all are doing retreats. You're doing, when you going to do something for us? I was like, oh, you see the sister circle? Y'all want some, so I
You
didn't
know that's
even
a form of
know.
therapy, right?
It is. Oh
Yeah,
God, it really
you're doing
is.
mental health work. Just because you're not sitting down with a professional in a chair somewhere, there's so many forms of therapy. You're doing the work. Unconscious.
Yeah.
So you're doing it. Women's retreats therapy. This therapy, you're doing it. You're good.
Thank you.
You're part of
So,
the mental health
I
professional
mean, there.
community. Do not sell yourself short. You're doing the work.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that.
Mhm.
I care about it deeply. I care about how we are and how we're doing in our community and how we're thinking, because I know it has to do with everything: our wealth, our love, our hearts, our legacy, our purpose, everything, the most important things. So, um, yeah, we'll stay connected. I don't know how the paths will cross and what I'll ever be able to help with it, but I have so many things on my mind too that I want to see done. I wrote a reality show. I need this show done. I don't
Nice.
know nothing about getting this into anywhere. I've never done it, but I'm like, oh, it's so for the culture. Like, it would be so good. So there's all
Yeah.
of these things, but we'll definitely stay connected. And, before we get out of here, is there anything you want to share with the audience, like some last words or any projects or something you got coming up or where they can follow you so we can roll with your flow?
Uh, all my social media is DJ Williams, easy. And same thing for Can I Be Vulnerable. I hope y'all can spell. I'm not spelling it for you. Can I Be Vulnerable? You'll find us everywhere except for Facebook. I don't have Facebook. Um, I got the big three. What is it? Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I don't know. I don't have to. I'm not old. So.
Perfect. That's all you
Other than
need.
that, no, I mean, hopefully I drop some gems. I do want to give a shout out to Jess. She's the one that connected us. Thank you, love. I really do
Yes.
appreciate you. So I do want to make sure I say that. I would not have met Jaimi without you. So thank you, Jess, love. I appreciate you.
Yes, I appreciate you, girl. Much love. We be traveling and talking and doing our things too, our little sister circle. So I love it. And, just like you with the Can I Be Vulnerable, it's like, it's mostly my friends, but then it'll be friends that'll be like, hey, I know this guy that does this thing. And I'll be like, well, let's do it. So we in the network.
I'm trying to think. I don't have no gems, man. Find some
No, you
therapy when
already
you
dropped
can.
plenty.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I dropped. I think I feel like I dropped a lot. Be on the lookout for the mobile unit now. Hopefully, by summer we're up and running. We're up and running by the summer, man. So when you see it, post it, we share it. Come visit us. We'll pull up in your neighborhood. Donate. We're still raising funds. Funding is going to be key for us. I'm still raising funds, and this is for everybody. But it's for you guys, honestly. I do have a bunch of mental health professionals, Black, people of color, and culturally competent. Because again,
That
um,
matters.
only 2% of mental health professionals are people of color. Less than 1% are Black. So we're not going to have a lot of us. I'm going to try to get as many of us as we can. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's probably going to be a lot of white people, a lot of brown people, a lot of Asian culture. But there'll be culturally competent people, right? So they may not have the experience, but they're competent enough to get the work done. And I think at this point, it's important just to be able to get the work done. So be on the lookout, man. And we're going to pull up on you, feed you a little bit. I got friends with food trucks who feed you too. But yeah,
Sound
be on the lookout, man. We're
bomb.
going to come. We're going to come through.
I'm eager to support for real. Like, I so
Thank
am
you.
all about, I'm posting, I'm sharing, I'm donating. If I can come through, I'm coming through.
it's, it's,
Like, for real.
it's going to be up. It's going to be up. Don't worry about it. We're going to post it. Can I be vulnerable? It's going to be on there. Don't worry about
Love it. Thank you, BJ. We'll stay
it. Thank
connected.
you.
This was amazing. And I
Absolutely.
want you to enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for everything, for real.
Thank you. Have a good one. See you
All
soon.
right. You too. Bye.
All right. Bye.